Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. AllinCrypto here, and today we are delivering another YouTube video, a rather unexpected one. Didn't expect to be doing this video myself. I've got lots of things going on. However, this news I really think warrants a video. Many of you who watch the price regularly of Bitcoin would have noticed today we have had a pretty epic run all the way up to just over 31,000. This is going into the close for the monthly close, which is usually a quite fought over close. You know, you've got probably the bears that don't want a 30k plus close, and you've got the bulls that of course want that. And very timely, the SEC came out today, and in regards to the price, you've probably noticed a pullback, from a very steep pullback actually in regards to price movement. Not in regards to how far it's gone. You know, we're still above 30k right now, but a very quick pullback back to sort of 30k. And this has everything to do with the SEC coming out and essentially saying that the Bitcoin spot ETF filings are inadequate. Okay, so this is kind of maybe a hint that perhaps they might deny the spot ETFs from BlackRock. Let's show you the price action actually, guys, as we're talking about it. So I didn't really expect to do this video, but this is the price action for Bitcoin. Forgive me, busy chart, but you can see SEC recently came out and commented and essentially said that the spot ETFs that have been put forward from BlackRock, Fidelity, a whole list of others, you know, we're now getting into the 30 trillion in terms of asset managers or assets under managements of the institutions that have now applied for a Bitcoin ETF. SEC's obviously came out and said it's inadequate. So let's look at actually what they've said, what we know. And then we'll do a little bit of sort of thought on it. You know, what my thoughts are. I think it's BS. I think the SEC at this point could not be doing a worse job at tackling the crypto industry. I mean, they really couldn't. Perhaps they're doing a great job in regards to whatever the hidden agenda is behind why they're doing this. We also saw that Coinbase recently look to dismiss the lawsuit. And also, it's very interesting because with BlackRock filing for a spot ETF, and BlackRock, like they've already been informed of all of this, you have a current lawsuit between the SEC and Grayscale. And I actually think that the SEC are going to win or lose a whole load of lawsuits in relation to crypto. And the ones that they've won are only really because there's been a fine that needed to be paid and they can move on, and people often don't want, the fine is often less than what the legal costs of going into battle with a very uncertain, potentially unlikely outcome is with the SEC. So let's cover it. Let's cover the official story. Like I say, this is not, or was not, an intended video. We can see what the price is doing, but this essentially is all driven by the SEC. How Gensler doesn't get done for market manipulation is beyond me. But Bitcoin tumbles on report of the SEC saying spot BTC ETF filing inadequate. It's very funny because they actually recently just introduced a leveraged futures Bitcoin ETF, and they've also got a futures. You know, you can trade Bitcoin futures on the CME, and the SEC would have had to approve both of these, or whatever regulatory body it is. So when it comes to actually backing the Bitcoin by, or having a spot Bitcoin ETF, which the difference really is with a futures, you don't need the underlying asset. With a spot, of course, you do. You know, if you look at an S&P ETF, it represents shares of the S&P that are redeemable. Same thing with a Bitcoin ETF. The main difference here, so they've approved a Bitcoin traded product, but they haven't approved Bitcoin necessarily. They've just approved a kind of derivatives that follows the price and speculates on the price of Bitcoin. The whole SEC thing just seems very strange to me. Bitcoin tumbles, of course, on report. Spot Bitcoin ETF application from BlackRock and Fidelity. Fidelity only actually launched there, or applied today, I think, amongst others, had helped drive Bitcoin higher over the past 2 weeks. Naturally, we've looked at why it's such a big deal for a spot ETF to be approved. The US Securities and Exchange Commission, ETF, said recently that recent filings to launch a spot Bitcoin ETF are inadequate, reported the Wall Street Journal Friday morning. So literally this morning. Of course, America is only waking up right now. UK's been up for a while, citing sources close to the matter. So the very interesting thing here is, typical snivelly Gensler fashion, right? He's not actually came out and addressed anyone. He's just, through whatever means, putting this out there to the public. And they've not actually came out and made a public statement on this. They're doing it through Wall Street Journal. And they're saying it's inadequate. Well, why is it inadequate? You know, and we'll explore that as we read through this article. So the news sent the price of Bitcoin plunging by $1,000 or more than 3% in the space of a few minutes. We've just looked at the price action. A press time, Bitcoin was trading above 30K. It's still above 30K now. It was above 31K. Actually had a beautiful run all the way up to sort of 31,300. The news sent the price of Bitcoin. Okay, we've read that. According to the story, the SEC has informed the NASDAQ, the CBOE, the exchanges that filed the spot Bitcoin ETF paperwork for several of the asset managers, including Giant, BlackRock, and Fidelity. The applications aren't sufficiently clear and comprehensive. The hypocrisy of Gensler and the SEC using words like aren't sufficiently clear and comprehensive in relation to crypto is nothing short of laughable. You want to talk about aren't sufficiently clear and comprehensive, the SEC is exactly that in relation to crypto. At issue, the story continued, is that the filings didn't have enough detail with respect to the surveillance sharing agreements, including which spot Bitcoin exchange would be used. So, of course, they're going after all the exchanges right now. We know in BlackRock's case, it would be Coinbase because BlackRock are partnered with Coinbase. They already offer institutional high-end clients crypto products through Coinbase through their Aladdin arm. So the asset managers can update their applications and refile, and the CBOE indicated to the Wall Street Journal that it's the plan to do so. So this is shaky news, but it's still a step in the right direction. You know, they've said it's inadequate, but they haven't said, no, we're definitely not going to do it. So there's a yin and a yang here. There's a positive and a negative. We're just reporting it as we see it. But again, a bee in my bonnet, I guess, with the SEC and their kind of complete lack of clarity. Really not a fan of the SEC. Really not a fan of Gensler. I think you couldn't have done a worse job at providing any kind of clarity or oversight for crypto than they have. It's not just me that says that. In fact, we've got former SEC chairmen that actually agree with that. So among the key reasons for the SEC's previous rejection of all the Bitcoin spot ETF filings was the agency's concern over spot price manipulation. The surveillance sharing agreement in this new round of applications were meant to assure those fears. We would decline to comment on the possibilities of individual filings, an SEC spokesperson told Coinbase. BlackRock's spot ETF filing in mid-June had been the impetus for a strong run higher in the price of Bitcoin since sending the crypto from below 26,000 to below 25, actually. I don't know who's watching the price there, guys, on CoinDesk. Contact me, guys, and we'll do a better job at keeping you informed with Bitcoin's price movements. To a one-year high above 31K. The BlackRock application also set off a host of filings from several other asset managers, including fellow asset manager Giant, Invesco, and Fidelity, both of which refiled for approval of their previous rejected spot Bitcoin ETFs. So there you have it, guys. Gensler in all his might. Listen, at the end of the day, we deal with what gets thrown our way. I could potentially see or would like to maybe get involved in the UK, which seems to be more friendly than the US, in regards to setting up maybe a crypto ETF. But we are a hell of a long way from even getting a Bitcoin ETF in the US, let alone, and the rest of the world will fall in line, let alone some of the altcoins, which is really where I'd be interested in maybe facilitating some sort of an ETF or exchange vehicle. And going through that whole rigmarole. So, of course, this is the Wall Street Journal's news that was breaking, that, of course, caused the drama. It was at 9:30 a.m., so 3 o'clock is in the UK is that 8 a.m. So this came out. This is So this really came out not that long ago at all. Regulator tells NASDAQ CBOE that the recent filing for BlackRock and Fidelity and others aren't clear and comprehensive. So we'll see what happens. I don't think it's 100% negative. This is definitely a slap in the face by all measures. But remember, guys, and if you don't already subscribe to this channel and watch my daily cryptocurrency market updates, please go and watch the last one, and please continue to do so, because they really are helpful for helping you guys navigate this space. Ultimately, we do see continuation and further upside for the cryptocurrency market broadly, and we've been very right in terms of positioning thus far, in terms of direction, and we do think we'll continue to be so, even with the SEC. And I think, okay, the SEC haven't outright denied it. They've just said it's inadequate, and ultimately are likely going to play their hand and drag their feet on this. But a Bitcoin spot ETF is inevitable. And actually, we will see a world where you'll have an Itcoin, a Ethereum ETF, potentially Litecoin, Bitcoin Cash. Maybe they get ETFs before some of your other altcoins that regulators aren't so keen on because of some of the entities that are involved with them. But on that note, I'm going to love and leave you. This was just a report. I do apologize. This was not meant to, I wasn't meant to film a video here, hence why I'm just like I am. But on that note, I'm going to love and leave you. Have a fantastic Friday, guys, regardless of this news, and I'll catch you all in the next YouTube video.